So you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas and you're considering that interesting neighborhood, Section 10, as your destination. It's that great neighborhood with the half-acre lots and the older homes that everyone's remodeling. I know you've heard about it. People are investing in this neighborhood and it's a great place. I live in Greater Section 10 and I love it. And that's exactly what we're talking about today, except we're going to talk about the pros and the cons. If you're thinking about moving into this neighborhood, there are definitely some downsides that you're going to want to know about. In fact, you need to watch this video if you're considering it, because there may be some deal breakers that'll prevent you from wanting to live here. In fact, we're going all in on the pros and cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Section 10 in Las Vegas right now. And if you want to be the first to learn about the entire Las Vegas Valley and everything in between, then come join me on my neighborhood deep dives. We are covering a lot of ground, we're learning a lot, and we're having fun. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and never miss a show. We got new shows every week. By the way, my name's Micah Bleecher, and I love living in Las Vegas. And I think you will too. If you're thinking about making a move here, you should know that we put our whole hearts into helping people make that move. Now, I've been here more than 20 years, but before that, I have made several cross-country moves. And believe me, I know the pain points. And we're here to help you through those, because helping people is what we do. So feel free to reach out. Shoot us a text, send us an email, pick up the phone, even schedule a Zoom call with me. My info's right down below. And we'll get started today helping you make that painless, easy move to Las Vegas. It's a great city. So we are here in Section 10 in Las Vegas, and we're talking about the pros and the cons, the yin and the yang of this neighborhood, the good and the bad and the ugly. And there is a bit of good and bad and ugly in this neighborhood. I've been working, living, walking through, driving through, coming to this neighborhood for nearly 20 years, and actually that diversity of good, bad, and ugly is kind of what attracted us to it. We like the diversity. We like the fact that right behind me there's an incredible mansion that's 15,000 square feet, and just a block over that way there's a smaller home that probably needs a lot of work. So we like that about Section 10. But we're going to talk about the pros and the cons today. And so the first con that we're talking about, con number one today, is the fact that no sidewalks or very few sidewalks in Section 10. It's a great place to walk and bike, but there are no sidewalks. You can look down the street here and you can see these multi-million-dollar mansions behind me, but on the street there's no sidewalks. So that is a con. If you're pushing a baby stroller or walking 2x2, you probably need to walk into the traffic so that you make sure that you don't get hit by a car. So luckily there's not a lot of traffic on most of these streets in Section 10, but it's something that you need to be aware of. There are no sidewalks, there's no trails, we're just walking on the street. Okay friends, con number two, crosstown traffic. Even though that there's not much traffic that goes through these streets because of the low density, there are people who cut through. And this is kind of one of the busier streets in Section 10. We're on Tenaya here, and sometimes people come barreling through here pretty fast, and we only know that because we walk through these streets. And so that is something to be aware of. Even though there's not a lot of traffic, sometimes there are speeders, and every once in a while I hear some knucklehead doing donuts. So because we're kind of isolated, so that's something to consider. Con number two, that's a downside. Occasional speeders coming through the neighborhood. Okay friends, we're at con number three, and that is the lack of uniformity. I know I like it. I find it very charming, the diversity, but not everybody does. In fact, the uniformity that you see in master plan communities and homeowners associations actually helps keep the value up. And so in Section 10, we see a lot of interesting diversity. I personally like it. I know a lot of people like it, but not everybody does. Here we see all kinds of, like almost a forest in the front yard, and in that vacant lot, just right down over here, that's owned by Blue Heron, and they're getting ready to put contemporary, modern luxury homes right there. And so you can see that there's quite a bit of diversity between contemporary modern homes and what we see behind me here. That is a con. That helps keep the value down. That's what you have here, and it's not for everybody. You have to really be able to appreciate the charm of the diversity in a neighborhood like this if you're going to enjoy it. So that may be a deal breaker for you. Lack of uniformity. That's con number three. Okay friends, we're on con number four, and that is septic tanks. Many of these homes here in Section 10 because this was once a rural neighborhood for Las Vegas a long time ago. Many of these houses are on septic tanks, and there's nothing inherently wrong with a septic tank. They work great. Been on one for many years. Many people have had them, but they don't connect into the public sewer. There's a system that manages that, and so many of these houses are on it. And so the problem with that is that if you want to use one of these houses for some sort of special use and need a special permit, being on a septic tank may disqualify you because we're in a water emergency. So it may disqualify you from even expanding the plumbing and getting plumbing permits to increase the plumbing on your house. So that is something that you really need to consider when you're looking for homes in Section 10. Is it on a septic tank or does it connect to the public sewer? And your realtor needs to tell you that. Okay, friends, we're at con number 5, and that is the word Airbnb. It seems to be a bad word everywhere these days. I keep hearing about Airbnb being problematic everywhere, and it's a problem here too. People come to Las Vegas to party, and nobody really likes these Airbnbs in their neighborhood because it tends to attract partiers. Many times people think they can just buy one of these homes in an HOA and turn it into an Airbnb, and the fact is they need special licensing from the county. It's not easy to get, so I wouldn't just assume that you can do that. If you're on a septic tank, it automatically disqualifies you from even applying for an Airbnb. So I would say that's a downside. There are some that operate illegally in this neighborhood, and the county kind of has a hard time shutting them down. They're coming down stronger on them, but so far, sometimes they get away with it for a long time. Anyway, con number 5, Airbnbs. We see them in this neighborhood a lot. Con number 6, and that is a lot of these homes need to be updated. Now, so far, I'm older than every home I've sold in Section 10, but some of these homes are older. Most of them are older, and they need updating. If it's a 70s home, if it's an 80s home, they need to be remodeled. You need to have the systems checked out. You need to make sure that the bones are good on that home, and if it's a good home to even remodel in the first place. And you need to check that out. You need to be with a realtor who's got your back and that protects you, and make sure to get all of the systems inspected if you go into contract on one of these, and they will need some work. I've remodeled one myself. I know what it takes, and it takes a large commitment is what it takes, and so and a desire and a will to get it done. And it's not an easy task, but if you have the heart to remodel one of these old babies, you can have a show home when you're done. Anyway, most of them need remodeling. You're not going to get too many new properties here in Section 10. There are a few new builds, but most of these are older and need remodeling. So that is con number 6. I only have 5 fingers. Con number 6. And now we're heading over to the pros. All right, friends, pro number 1. Pro number 1, again, lack of uniformity. I know I just said that was a con, and it does kind of keep property values down a little bit, but a lot of people really like the diversity. In fact, I'm standing right here at this build, this product, this brand new development by Blue Heron. Brand new homes. There's one in there for $2.7 million. We saw that in our last video. One for $6.5 million. Brand new homes. And right over my shoulder over here, there's an older home that's probably built in the 70s or 80s. And so you've got that diversity right across the street. And again, master plan communities kind of do keep the value up a little bit, but many people don't like the cookie cutter look. And so they like the fact that we've got brand new right here, brand new luxury, contemporary, and probably remodeled, but much older 70s or 80s homes right across the street. That is a lack of uniformity, and I like it. I like it when it's a little funky, a little weird, and a lot of other people do too. So lack of uniformity is a pro in my opinion, and many others. All right, friends, we're up to pro number 2, and pro number 2 for Section 10 has to be the ginormous, huge half-acre lots. Now, a half-acre is technically 21,700 and change feet, and for the zoning, for residential estate zoning, the zoning that's here in Section 10, it only has to be 18,000 square feet, but that has to be a minimum for this zoning. And so all of these lots, I'm standing here on a vacant lot right here in Section 10, has not been developed yet. All of these lots have to be a minimum of 18,000 square feet. I see them a little bit bigger. I see them go way over half. I see multi-acre lots out here, but the minimum for this zoning has to be 18,000 square feet. Now these lots run bare. If you can get one, they run around $375,000, maybe a little bit more if they've got some services on them, so they're not cheap. So if you see a house on here, on one of these lots, you figure if there was no house on it at all, it would be about $375,000 or $400,000 just for the bare land. And so that's what we're looking at here in Section 10, is huge, huge lots. And in Section 10, everything is on these half-acre lots. Section 11 has these half-acre lots. Much of Section 3 and 4 across Sahara, a little bit of 12 across Jones has these half-acre lots. So if you're interested in large lots and everything that you can do on them, be creative, it's a huge canvas to create an amazing living space, then Section 10 may be for you. It's amazing, it's a great place to live. Giant lots in Section 10. Okay friends, we're up to pro number 3, and that is no homeowners associations. There are few restrictions in Section 10. There may be a few cul-de-sacs that have very small homeowners associations with electronic gates, but there are no homeowners associations in much of Section 10. And a lot of people like it that way. Now, I know I said that these restrictions, these master plan communities help boost values, and they do, but not everybody likes it. I have a client right now up in one of the country clubs that left his trash cans out, and now they're asking him before the homeowners association board, and they're considering taking away his voting rights for a little bit. People don't like that. That was just for leaving his trash cans out a little bit too long. Here in Section 10, of course, if somebody leaves their trash cans out too long, it doesn't look very nice, and so that's a problem. But on the other hand, most people are responsible and take care of things, and I'm looking at this house behind me and it looks quite beautiful. Actually, I can see their trash can. If this was in an HOA, that guy would be fined right now for having his trash can out, and a lot of people don't like that. So no HOAs, pro number 3, and that's what you get here in Section 10 for the most part. No homeowners associations. Okay friends, we're at pro number 4, and that is location. I love this location. We are halfway between the Las Vegas Strip to my left and downtown Summerlin to my right. That is a great location. We're right next to Desert Inn, which is a main thoroughfare that cuts through the city, and we're close to all highway access, so it's very good. The fella behind me has a boat right here. We're only 50 minutes from Lake Mead, from this location right here. So under an hour, this guy can have his boat on the lake. So this is a great location, friends. It's close to just about everything. It's central. You'll be minutes from downtown Summerlin with all the restaurants and entertainment there. Minutes from the Strip with world-class entertainment. It's amazing. This is a great location, friends. Section 10, good location, pro number 4. Okay, friends, now we're up to pro number 5, and pro number 5 is walkability. I know this neighborhood doesn't have a lot of sidewalks, but the low density really makes it fantastic to walk in. I walk in here all the time. My wife walks in here all the time, and we love it. It's not quite as amazing as a walk in nature, but the low density zoning really makes it fun, and we love seeing all of the houses, and when they go under construction for remodeling, it's just fun, and it's a great place to walk. Sometimes we go over to Rainbow Family Park and walk around that park, and then through the neighborhood. Sometimes we go up to American Park and walk around that one. But Greater Section 10 is a great place to walk, even without any sidewalks. I think you're gonna like it. We walk here all the time. Okay, friends, we are up to pro number 6. Pro number 6, and that's investment opportunities. We work with a lot of people that have come in here and bought some of these homes and flipped them, turned them around, turn them into an investment. A lot of investors shop in this neighborhood. They look for deals, they look for old broken homes, and then they come in and fix them. Honestly, I don't know the formulas of every individual investor, and I can tell you that every investor I've worked with has a different formula for how they think it's going to make it work. What I do is try to give them as much information as possible so they can make the best decision when they're crunching numbers. So this house behind me right here, an investor bought, remodeled it, and sold it. We sold it for him. Section 10 can be a great place to invest. However, you got to check things out. You got to make sure that if you're going to use it for a special use and require a special license, that it qualifies and that it's not on septic tank, and there are other issues that you need to know of. And so I would say before you invest, you really need to have your eyes open and know all the information. But Section 10 is a good place to invest in, and people are putting money into this neighborhood, and I see it all the time. Investments. pro number 6. Good place to invest. At least there are some interesting opportunities to consider. Well, friends, that kind of wraps up our pro and con tour for section 10 today, and I hope that after this you have a little bit better idea of the good and the bad and the ugly of this neighborhood. There's some good things going on here. I love this neighborhood, but it's not for everyone, so that's why I made this video, so you can be aware of the pros and the cons. Friends, thank you so much for watching today. I sure appreciate you being with me. By the way, my name is Micah Bleecher, and I love living in Las Vegas, and I think you will too. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the cool neighborhoods here in Las Vegas. And come join me on my adventures as we go through these neighborhoods and learn things. We're having fun and we're covering a lot of ground. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and never miss a show. We got new shows every week. Feel free to reach out, please. Email me, text me, schedule a Zoom. My information is right there below, and we can get to know each other and start helping you make that great, easy move to Las Vegas today.